Good late morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the usual disclaimers. In the description box, folks, as always, you are going to see the link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavioral modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much, they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they do not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has, of course, refused, so you know the drill. Please read that article and share on all your social media. We also have a link to NeuroClastic's public statement in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding, folks, in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. We also have the links to the Agape boarding school situation. Agape boarding school is a quote-unquote Christian-themed boarding school that takes in troubled teens. And it's located out in Stockton, Missouri, that has, as of right now, over 21 lawsuits pending against it that are alleging child abuse, sexual abuse, starvation, amongst many other charges. As of right now, they have had one staff member arrested by the FBI, another a former doctor on residence who is up on multiple state charges of sodomy and sexual abuse. We are today, as of right now, while we're speaking, the hearing is now going on in order to determine whether or not they are going to close down Agape boarding school, at least for the time being, and get those kids to a safe space. So please read those articles, share on all your social media, and whether you praise, send good vibes, whatever it is that you do, send them up now, because this is happening. Kids are being beaten now. So now's the time, all right? We also have the change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition, also linked. Please sign and share on all your social media. We also got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. And if you want to know what the JRC actually gets up to as compared to what kind of bullshit that they have been saying throughout this document, go. You will find linked in there what happened to Andre McCollums. Trigger warning, though, if you watch that video, you will see live footage of a person with a disability being tortured, okay? Alright, so programmed opportunities, type of programmed op. So now we're going to get into the optics of the bullshit of what they do at this school. I'm slightly giddy. I'm looking forward to just ripping this into shreds. So let's see what they have, shall we? Academic program opportunities are situations designed to teach correct response to certain questions. For example, an academic programmed op, the student might be asked what his home telephone number is. Training and prompting is provided to help the student respond correctly. If he or she recites it correctly, he or she is rewarded for doing so. If he or she recites it incorrectly, they may receive some punishment depending on the student's program. What the actual fuckballs? Responding appropriately to what your phone number is? If you give your phone number correctly, if you tell exactly what your phone number is, that's the correct answer. What are we doing complicating a simple question as to what your telephone number is? And why the fuck are we punishing students if they don't know it? There's a lot of people in this world of cell phones that don't know what their own phone number is. I'm talking a lot of neurotypicals here. Remember, I interact with these people. Most of these people that I talk to on the phones don't have their phone numbers memorized because in a cellular age, we don't have to. We live in a world with instant caller ID who's going to tell you who it is that's calling. So, are you telling me that you're going to punish these students for something that you don't punish neurotypical adults for? Oh, but of course that's what they do, isn't it? And what kind of punishment do they get if they do not answer that correctly, JRC? Do you really think torturing a student just because they haven't got their phone number memorized is an appropriate response? Really? Good God. Social program opportunities are situations designed to impart certain social skills that may currently be deficient in a particular student. To impart the skill, the usual rewards and educational procedures are tried first. If they are insufficiently effective, we may design program social opportunities that are designed to strengthen the social skill in question. For example, suppose a student does not display a smile when greeting a new person, or does not make eye contact or offer to shake hands when introduced to such a person. Oh, for fuck's sakes, do you all live in the 1950s? Really? Really? Because these are social skills that are more best placed in politics, not in real life. This is not how people greet one another. No, not even a new person. Unless it has to do with business or work, I don't shake the hand of every new person that I meet. I sure as hell don't look them in the eyes. Do you understand how painful that is for an autistic? Would you like me to explain it for you? It is sensory fucking hell. You are forcing us to go in physical fucking pain for your comfort. Because that's what society expects of you. So once again, we're living in a situation where we'll accept everybody's differences except us. Sound familiar, kiddies? Well, it should. We live in a world where they preach difference and tolerance, and it's a beautiful thing. But it never seems to be applied to us. They do not feel like our discomfort, our pain, our own cultural rituals should be respected. And yes, there is such a thing as autistic culture. We group together for a reason. Why in the name of fuck should I look in a new person who I've never met before in my life, a perfect stranger, directly in the eyes and greet them like they're an old friend? Have I done it? Well, let's face it, I've played politics. Why, instead of doing things that make us uncomfortable and us feel unsafe, why are we not providing reasonable alternatives? Would you like to know what I taught in my state job for such social niceties when they're demanded of us? I like to call them tricks of the trade, and they've worked every time. Instead of forcing someone to look someone they don't even fucking know in the eyes, I would teach, look right here. Right here. It's a place on a person's face that is eye level, but is not forcing us to stare that person in the eyes and causing us overwhelmingly sensory hell. Okay? Right here. That would be what I would recommend for that. As far as social niceties, how are you? Fine. Teach it to us like it's a script. Actually, working in call centers has helped me with this quite exceptionally because there's always a script to go on. You know how long it took me to realize the world didn't want me to actually tell them how I actually was? That they're just trying to be polite, but they actually don't care how you really are? This world's a cold place. They want their fake social niceties. They don't want the truth. They just want you to play along with their script. Once you understand that and you learn the script, it becomes a lot easier to deal with. So, instead of punishing them for not getting it right, you just have them practice repeatedly. We are excellent at memorization. You keep going with that long enough, and it's just going to be internalized. It automatically comes out like that. We mask for a reason. We learn scripts for a reason, especially when we're older. The younger we are when we start learning these scripts on how to deal with neurotypical society that is not built with us, the better off we're going to be. Do I think torture needs to be a part of that? No. No, I don't. And as far as what they feel is appropriate, well, JRC, you very obviously have some severe communication problems yourselves, as noted throughout the entirety of this word salad document. So, excuse me if I'm not going to go to you to learn how I'm supposed to behave. Just saying. And this whole idea, but you must smile when you meet a new person. Are you on crack? I have never met this person in my entire life, and I'm supposed to give them a pleasant smile? Matter of fact, why is this complete stranger actually expecting me to smile at them? If I bump at you in the grocery store and we pass a pleasant hello, why are you making these weird demands of us? This is something I've never really understood. I mean, God, I don't smile at every new person I meet. I use the social, oh, excuse me. If they speak with me, I answer politely. But I'm not going to smile at them like I've known them for the last decade. Unless there are exceptions where I've met people and I just automatically took a liking to them. Automatically just got a really good vibe. Those people I didn't mind so much. But this basically assumed that we are supposed to go around, greet politely, and smile at people we've never met in our lives. Almost gives this image of me walking around, smiling all the time, greeting people in a fake sugary voice that kind of makes me look like a happy axe murderer. In fact, one of the things I used to hate about call centers, God, smile and dial. Like, I swear to God, if I hear smile and dial one more time, y'all are gonna think smile. Just saying. Just saying. But let's dissociate into this insanity for a minute from our common sense and our logic to see if we can try to swallow their insanity. This is typically used when our normal educational and rewards procedures have insufficiently effective to impart these skills. In such a case, the psychologist might design some social programmed opportunities to remedy the situation. A social program up has two components. First, the student is given special training and practice to learn what the skill is, why it is important, and how to exercise it. This is the most stupid shit on the planet. Small talk is not really that important, folks, because it's fake. That's why autistics have such a huge problem with it, because it's fake. It's surface stuff and it serves no purpose. We want to talk about things that actually matter. If someone asks how we are, we want to be able to give you the honest answer. We want you to give us an honest answer. In fact, I've made, strangely enough, believe it or not, JRC, because of that attitude, I've made several neurotypical friends because we helped work through together what was causing them to not feel so great. Honesty is the best policy, not this social niceties for niceties' sake. They don't actually have any real value. I prefer meaningful social interactions, which is very much different. Meaningful social interactions might start with the on-the-surface fake stuff, but eventually you're going to get down to the nitty-gritty, so to speak. But fakeness for fakeness' sake, to make other people feel more comfortable, I could write papers on this. First, the student is given. The training can include videotape material that shows examples of the skill being performed correctly and incorrectly, and teaches the student to discriminate good and bad performances. First of all, folks, most autistics have been watching movies since we are young kids. We've already been getting the majority of our social cues from the TV. We can tell the difference between good acting and bad acting. Doesn't mean that we are going to use that as a way to conduct ourselves by. I'm sorry. I was watching movies, God, since itty bitty. I watched old films. I watched silent films. I watched all the films. I still didn't engage in small talk, and what I felt was this fake layer of fake niceties until I started getting more involved with advocacy because the politicians eat it up. God knows why. Moving on. The training may also include practicing the skill in hypothetical situations. Second, after it is clear that the student can execute the behavior, we arrange situations in which we deliberately bring a new person into the student's classroom and introduce him or her to the student. Rewards would be administered for the desired responses. Punishment may be administered for incorrect responding depending on the student's program. Oh, for fuck's sake. So you're going to shock them if they fuck up meeting a new person? Do you know how many people, neurotypicals, fuck up meeting a new person? You're kidding me, right? Why should I let you evaluate for me how to properly meet and introduce myself to a new person? And why the fuck would I be getting punished if it doesn't meet your criteria? Not two people are the fucking same, not even when it comes to small talk. I've noticed there are nuances being a people watcher. Okay? Real life and fake when you're learning a script are not the same thing. When you are in there, so to speak, and you get those nerves getting you, and I can tell you right now, there is such thing as holy fuck, it's a new person, Jesus Christ. Everything leaves your head, right? Right? It's happened to me. It's happened to me when I've been at places in an official capacity, for God's sake. Nerves happen to us all. We may act inappropriate responses because real life and role playing are not the same fucking thing. Can I say it for the idiots in the back? Role playing and in real life are not the same fucking thing at all. At all. At all. All right? To sit there and your high horse, you didn't respond correctly to the question. They didn't want your life story. They just wanted you to say you were fine and move on. So we're going to torture you for that. Fucking really? All for what? For what? So that you people are more comfortable? Seems to me the person with the inappropriate response is not the student who is having the same foibles as any other neurotypical person who might be an introvert doing the same thing. It is you, JRC, who is responding inappropriately. This is not a teaching skill. You cannot try to do a teaching skill and reinforce it with fucking torture. And I'm going to close out on that before I go. JRC, you are very lucky I don't live in Massachusetts. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time, and as always, we hope you have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow evening. Bye-bye.